What is up, everybody? I am actually restarting this video. This is take 2. If you want to see how this video originally started, stick around to the end because I'm putting that footage at the end. But in the meantime, we're gonna do something a little more exciting, and let's try and actually put some rear springs and the rear axle up. I gotta get some sort of progress done. And yeah, stick around to the end and you'll see how we originally started this video. If you're new here, what we're gonna be installing are these brand new ORD, Offroad Designs, custom rate leaf springs. These are the ones made by Alkin Springs for ORD. So I'm going to be putting those on the rear, and then you see I got the fronts there also. Over here we have a, oh, that's the Dana 60. This is the rear axle here. This is a 14 bolt full floater from a military M1008. So that's got the 456 gears and Detroit locker in it. So we are gonna try and hang that today. Let's see how this goes. We also have a U-bolt flip kit that we'll be installing. I'm probably just gonna be putting a lot of this stuff in loose. And then we also have the shackle flip kit that we've already installed. So let's get at it. We gotta go to the map. So drop a comment where you are watching from and I'll put a pin on the map. Let's go. At the map, here we are. So if you're new here, or if you're just holding out on me, let me know where you're watching from and I'll put a red pin on the map on your location. Just let me know your city, your state, your country, whatever you want to represent. This week we got 5 more pins to add, so that's awesome. So let's get to it. So the first one, we got a bit of an issue. 007 Freakazoid. You told me Great Falls, but you didn't let me know what state. And when I searched Great Falls, there's several Great Falls in the country, so I can't put your pin down yet. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to put you out here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean until you let me know what state to put it on. Alright, our first real legit pin we get to put on Yorktown, Virginia. That is way out there on the East Coast. Next we go way up north to Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Alright, this next one I can't say. I had to look online to see the pronunciation of it, and there's like 3 different pronunciations of it. So we're going to Minnesota and it's Ogema, Ogema, or Ogma. So I like Ogema, Minnesota. So that's what we're sticking with for now. And last, this one's pretty cool. Last week I was thinking, man, I wonder if I'll ever get anybody from Maine. And well, here we are, Augusta, Maine. It's the capital too, it looks like. That's cool. There we are. This is what we're looking like right now. So it's kind of cool to see the trends of where people are watching from. So yeah, let me know. Let me know where you're watching from. And I also have stickers that I'm still giving away. All you got to do is give me your address at pootsgarage@gmail.com. I also just had to tell you guys that I am struggling right now to get this stuff done. Man, I don't know what it is. If it's the temperature change, the season's changing, I don't know. But it's really hard just to get out of bed these days, it seems like, on my days off. So I don't know, maybe it's this night shift schedule that's kind of beating me up, but we're still doing it. And the weather is definitely changing. It is cold outside. We're freezing just about every night now. We've had a couple small snowstorms come through. Yeah, next we're getting into the teens here for the next couple weeks, I think, at night. So it's getting chilly, and the cold weather doesn't help much for the motivation wise out here. But we are making progress. We are gonna keep pushing. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Yeah, another thing is the sun goes down so early these days. I think it's already getting dark by, what, 5 o'clock or something? So it kind of makes it hard when I don't wake up until, you know, afternoon, and it's pretty much getting dark if I sleep in at all. So it's getting kind of rough. But like I said, we're doing this thing. We're gonna push this all through winter because I know that there's bright skies ahead in the springtime. So I just want to get this project like as far as we can get going through the winter when the times are kind of, you know, icky and whatnot. You don't want to be outside, you know, working or, you know, playing anyways. So hey, let's just see what we can get done. Obviously, the first thing we gotta do is get these leaves on, so we can start that project. Ugh. They're not light. Lighter than what we took off this thing though. Those were, what, 100 pounds a piece? Oh. these bushings that all come with these leaves are all greasable. They even have the little grease fitting on the bolt themselves. So they say to kind of pre-grease everything up, kind of give everything a little jump start in life, you know what I'm talking about? So we just kind of give everything a fairly, that was kind of thick, but a fairly light coating. Well, they're not sliding in like I hoped, so the front end here, the gap there is just a little small. So trying to beat that bushing in there it's really tight, and that's some thick metal, so I'm not just gonna bend it out, you know, manually. I kind of got to beat it in. So what I did is I hung the rear one first, just to kind of hold things in place and line things up. So hopefully with a little persuasion with the jack and different things, we can get it in there. Alright, we got that bolt in. That was a pain in the ass. So leaf spring is all the way in, it's hanging. These things are really soft springs. That bolt is actually coming through the back side. The problem I'm having is if we go like this, you can see, you probably can't see, but that little dark hole there, you see where the spring goes through? That's where I have to get the bolt or the nut in through. And I know when I took them out, I could barely get a wrench in there to hold the nut to take them off. To get them back on, I have no idea how they want me to do that. So I might end up just cutting a hole on the back side of that plate and going that route. But we'll see. I'll attempt to get it in there first before I start hacking things up. But that's kind of a pain. So I'm gonna not do that right now, but I'm gonna move to the other side and get that other leaf in there. Went in a little easier. Still got to put the nut on the back side of that one, just like the other side. But the back side worked great. Shackle flip looks awesome. Those springs have a lot of droop to them. I don't even know if I got enough room to get my axle under there. I can't really jack this truck up any higher unless I start doing something a little different with them jack stands. That's where we're at. Alright, well that wasn't too easy, but luckily the floor coating I got on here is real kind of slippery, so that nice fresh hard paint on that axle, it slides right across that floor. It's kind of nice. So I'm at a predicament here where it's going to be too low to jack up, and I don't know if I'll be able to, I can probably do one side at a time, I think. And hopefully the U-bolts are long enough to grab onto it, so let's try. we have an axle. It's not permanent yet. Haven't tightened any bolts down yet, but that's what we are working with. Oh, that looks sick. So sick. I'm gonna redo that rear diff cover before this project's done. If you can even see much, it's so dark under there right now. But that's what we are working with. And these springs are very droopy, so this axle is hanging real low right now, so it's not gonna sit that tall, but that is cool. So now that we got this done, I need to go to bed. It's real late, but you guys aren't done yet. So let's go to what I was working on earlier. What's up, guys? Time for another weekend working on the truck. So this week, I've already been working. My hands are already greasy. So I kind of just started doing that nitty gritty stuff, all the greasy, grimy junk that, I don't know, I'm not trying to get on video. It's kind of boring. So yeah, let's show you what we got going on. And first off, I got stickers. So I'm giving these away for free. All you gotta do is drop a comment, subscribe, like the video, and then send me your address at pootsgarage@gmail.com. Pretty easy. So my workbench is a little messy here because I've already been working. Basically all I've done so far, okay, there's a lot of work, is I took these are all the ends of the brake lines that I just cut when I took the axles out. So these are the two fronts, whoops, these are the fronts, this is the rear. I know I talked about reflaring and redoing nuts and all this stuff, but everything came out pretty good. The rear, the nut is rounded and I had to use vice grips, but it came right off. So I'm not gonna, it just requires a different type of tool to get the brake line off, that's all. I don't know, I'm just not in the mood to cut and flare and do all that stuff. My flaring tool sucks and I've been frustrated before, so the nut that's on the line is usable. The fronts came off relatively easy. I had issues on the driver's side. Actually had to use some heat, which is why I got the old map gas out here. Had to heat up the housing real hot, and it came off hard the entire way out, but that side was really rusty for some reason. But we got it. The nut on the brake line end is in great shape, so we can reuse all that. That's a good sign, so I don't have to really go through and repair brake lines. So that's a relief. Next, I want to take off the oil cooler lines that we talked about last week. That's not exactly exciting stuff, so I'm not going to get that on video. And then I'm just going to try and get them out, and I still need to order new ones. So if by chance I wake up early enough tomorrow, I'll go down to Napa Auto and order something. If not, I'll have to try and find something online. And I ran into another issue when I was working on this passenger side underneath. I'll take you under there as soon as I grab a flashlight. So I noticed I had some crunchy wires under there, which is never a good thing. Let's go underneath here, take a look. So if you notice how close the headers are to the starter, that's not ideal, but these headers are kind of designed for this, so it's just because the starter's so big. But the big issue is, look how close the wires are. Whoops. And then I noticed the power wire, the main battery cable going to the starter, is completely cooked. Now, that probably didn't happen during normal use. I haven't driven this truck that much, but it didn't really happen during normal use. When that happened was probably when I was breaking in the camshaft, and I accidentally had the FI Tech adjusted to a 350, not a 454, so it ran pretty lean during the whole break-in period. So these headers were glowing red, and I know I melted out like the shock bushings, you know, which are on the outside of the frame, so this whole thing was just cooking. So, and then I also noticed my starter solenoid, if you hear that, is loose also. So yeah, you can see I got pieces of wire just falling off. Everything's so crispy in there. Look at that. So I'm gonna have to take that starter out. I'm gonna replace it. I know I've already replaced it once before, but we'll put another one in there. Maybe a mini starter, because it's just a little smaller. And then I got to replace all those wires. I got to figure out the best way to do that. Obviously a new main battery cable, that's essential. And yeah, so it's just more work that I got to do to this, more stuff. I don't have to do that with the axle out, but it'd be nice to at least get the wiring fixed. The starter's not that big a deal. These are real easy starters. Bolts are on the bottom, so I'll have to look into that. And yeah, so we just got more stuff to take care of before this project gets on the road, but it's good to find it now rather than find out, you know, four-wheeling or just driving down the road that, you know, all my wirings are cooked. So we'll get at it. I'm defeated for the night, so this is as far as we got. I got one line out and the other I can't get out. I need more tools. So let's check it out. This is the one line I got out. That's my oil cooler line. This end on the left attaches to the motor up at the oil filter that runs alongside the block, and then it runs out to the cooler in the front of the vehicle. So that one came out, it was a fight, but I got it. And that one up there is the one I still need to get out. You can see the shiny spot where the other one came out. This one looks identical, and it really is. It runs right alongside it, but the problem is, it is just a little bit higher mounted up to where I can't get a wrench to line up perfectly on the flats. So right now, my wrench hits the header, and the biggest issue is probably the headers being in the way. So my wrench hits the header, and if I try and flip the wrench around to get a little better bite, I can't do it because the oil pan is just too close. So I have a regular wrench, I have the tubing wrench, and neither one works. Now, the one thing I need to make this work would be a crow's foot. Now, I have some crow's feet, but they're metric. And a metric, you know, it's a nice snap-on unit there. But I can't use a metric because it's just a little too sloppy on there, and I don't want to round it out. So, can't use that. So I need to get standard crow's feet. A lot of my tools I bought over the years have been metric because I worked at a Chevy dealer for new vehicles, and well, everything new is metric. So that's where we are at. So tomorrow's Saturday. Hopefully I can wake up early enough to get up and get out to Napa Auto Parts. They usually close pretty early, like, I don't know, like 2 o'clock or so. And I work night shift, so getting up anything before noon is a struggle for me. So hopefully I can get up early enough. It's, I don't know what time it is now. It's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning probably. So we will have to try and figure that out. The good thing is, since I got that brake line off and I'm not going to replace any of the line nuts, is I can actually put this back together. I can put new springs on, I can hang the axle, I can do all the good stuff back here. But I'm not going to try to do that just yet until, well, I need to go to bed. I need to try to go to sleep. I need to try to go to bed early so I can wake up early. Tomorrow is the day. Nope, couldn't do it. So I woke up too late. And of course I haven't run to the store yet today, and it's nighttime again. So I'm gonna have to order some of those crow's feet online, and hopefully they'll be here next week or next weekend before we start working again. So gotta figure out the best place to order it. I gotta get away from Amazon. I have a hard time ordering from them all the time. I'm gonna check Summit Racing, see if they got anything decent, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, that's where we're at on that. I can go in there and take the starter out. I did realize I should probably change my motor mounts and stuff too while I'm in there, so I think I have those on the shelf somewhere. I have to dig those out. But yeah, it's not happening. I think I'm gonna restart this video and try and do something productive.